I swear I said July 8th at the beginning. Anyway, here we go. 3, 2, 1. All right, now we got the pitcher upgrades coming for the roster update on July 8th. Here's a handful of guys that are still deserving from previous upgrades. I'm just going to highlight these guys. As always, you can check previous videos, and if guys have not been upgraded, there's a really strong chance that I still believe that they deserve an upgrade. For example, right now we're talking about Johnny Cueto still deserves an upgrade, Justin Verlander, Julio Teheran, Danny Duffy. Even though I'm still really suspect of him, I do think Bud Norris deserves an upgrade. I'm very, very suspect of what he's doing, but he even got traded out to LA and had a really good first start with them. So he did add a cutter, and so maybe there is something a little bit different going on. I don't really buy it, but he's better than a 72, at least over his last 6 starts. And also rookies Daniel Mengden for Oakland and Tyler Anderson for Colorado. Those are guys that were recently given upgrades in a previous video that are still very deserving. And now we have 8 new guys to talk about this week. And we're going to start, actually this is not really a new one, this is another one I wanted to dive into. Even though I did an upgrade for him, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago, he's just continued to be amazing, and I really want to get in and see what this does with his overall. We're talking about Max Scherzer right now. I think one of the things that really jumps out about what he's been doing this year is the fact that, yeah, he's giving up 1,000,000 home runs, but as we've been highlighting on this stream, and I will give credit to specifically Cardinal Bird 5, who had mentioned it in this stream, and others who said that the homer per 9 metric does not matter for online play. I was suspect of that. I'm not going to lie, and it's not that I was calling Derek a liar or anything. It didn't make sense to me. I said that doesn't compute. Why wouldn't that make? Why wouldn't that be a stat for? Why was that a stat for sim only? I don't know why, but the devs did confirm that to me. So the fact that Max Scherzer's home run rate is terrible and is going to go down here, we're actually going to move it down to a 53, that doesn't affect us. They can move it down to 30. Who cares? It might hurt his overall, but it's not going to hurt him in terms of how we use him. But let's get into everything else that he's doing, because everything besides the home runs has been amazing. I think his homer per 9 needs to go up to 90. He has a 194 average against. That's 5th in baseball this year, and his 6.3 hits per 9 is a career best. His Ks per 9 needs to go up to 90 as well. So you're talking about 90-90. That's amazing. 11.6 strikeouts per game is 2nd in baseball to only that Clayton Kershaw guy, who you may be familiar with, although RIP him, he's on the DL right now. His walks per 9 does have to do. His walks per 9 rating does have to go down a little bit. I'm bumping it down to 73. He's still really good. 2.4. That's nothing to sneeze at, but it is up from 1.3 last year. So he's added a full walk to his bottom line there. And again, I mentioned the homer per 9 needs to go down. Now, originally I was going to put this down to like 42 or something because it's absolutely terrible. He has a 1.6 homer per 9 rate. It's the 11th worst in baseball. But I'm basing this on Ian Kennedy, who has a 52 rating, and he has the MLB worst 1.9 homers per 9 for qualified starters. Actually, Chris Young has the true worst. Chris Young right now is allowing 4 homers per 9 innings. Like, that's impossibly bad. But I'm just looking at qualified starters, so a certain number of innings. And Ian Kennedy's 1.9 is the worst, and he only has a 52 homer per 9. So I can't really get him get Ian Kennedy below, or excuse me, I can't get Max Scherzer below Ian Kennedy. So I just went with a 53. Let's see what that does. That moves him. That keeps him at a 93. So that's where it's at. That's one of those though that while the overall doesn't go up, the usefulness is absolutely going up. If they give him these kind of upgrades, 90-90, I cannot get over how great that is. I am surprised that his velocity is only at 69, but again, that takes into account everything. He does have some slower pitches, like an 83-mile-an-hour changeup. And when you have a 93 average fastball, you can still get it up to 95. Either way, 93, that's even, but it is an upgrade nonetheless in terms of, again, usefulness. Next up is Another Cleveland Indian. God, they're good this year. And it's pitching and hitting. But Carlos Carrasco is ready for an upgrade. We talked about Trevor Bauer and Danny Salazar in recent weeks. They both got their upgrades. We did a Corey Kluber one, I think it was last week, but then of course, he went out and had a bad outing because that's just what he does. He's so up and down, and it's really frustrating. Carlos Carrasco's amazing, and he's deserving of an upgrade. I think everyone who's played the game for any decent bit is well aware of how good Carlos Carrasco is. He's kind of one of those hidden silvers, but I think it's about time that he finally moves up to gold. His last 4 starts, he's got 4.6 hits per 9, 9.7 Ks, 3 walks, and .6 homers. So I got his hits per 9 going up to 78. So here's what I did. For Carlos Carrasco, I kind of based him off of Danny Salazar, his teammate. Both of them are awesome, and so they're kind of comparable as well. This year, Carlos Carrasco has 7.3 hits per 9. Or excuse me, back up. Carlos Carrasco has 7.3 hits per 9 since 2014. Danny Salazar's at 7.8, and he has an 80 rating. Now, the reason that I'm making Carlos Carrasco's a little bit lower is because Salazar has been better this year, and they put a little bit of extra weight on this year. So there's only about a half hit difference between them since 2014, which is the 3 years that they use. They use 14, 15, and of course this year. So I leaned a little bit favorably to Salazar on that one. Same thing kind of goes for the Ks. I'm moving it up to an 81. He's at 9.9 since 2014. Danny Salazar's at 9.8, and he has an 83 mark. But again, he's better this year, so I do think that he should stay a little bit ahead of his teammate Carlos Carrasco. But either way, both of these upgrades are really useful, and I think we'll finally get him up to a gold. Absolutely, 86. It's long overdue, to be honest, and it's not even really San Diego's fault. It's the fact that he went on the disabled list with that hamstring strain, trying to field a play at first, and he missed a bunch of time. So if he hadn't missed that time, he would have been beasting, and he probably would have been gold a month ago, to be quite honest. This one's interesting. I'm interested to kind of see how this one turns out, because this guy's been really electric this year. They talk about electric stuff. You want to know what that, you've heard that term, and you're like, what does that really mean? If you can't figure it out, go watch Lance McCullers pitch, and you'll be like, wow, okay, that's what it means. His stuff is filthy. But at the same time, it's also tough for him to control because it is so filthy. It's tough for hitters to catch up to, though, and he gets a big K per 9 upgrade up to 84. He's got an 11.2 mark this year. That's third among starting pitchers with a minimum of 50 innings. That's a low threshold because he also missed time this year. But you're talking about being behind only Kershaw and Scherzer, which is really insane. Now, his walk rate has to go down a little bit, though. I'm not going to go crazy on it, even though he does have a 5.1 walks per 9, which is really awful. His first pitch strike rate is actually static from last year. And he had a 3.1 walks per 9 last year. So I think this is a little bit flukish that he's walking this many guys. I think it will continue to improve as the summer wears on. So I bumped it down a little bit, but I didn't want to go crazy. Now, even though this won't change our outlook for him, I do think his hits per 9, his homers per 9 does need to go up to about 78. He's at career .6, and this year he's at .3. Those are both excellent. And what it can do is it can upgrade his overall and probably help us get him to gold, which of course that will help him in the market. And so, while it won't necessarily change how he plays for us unless you use the roster in a sim situation, it will certainly help his market value. I'm leaving the hits per 9 alone because his batting average on balls in play is elevated. And probably on the unlucky side because he does have a really good batted ball profile. So I'm not even going to touch it. He has allowed probably more hits than a 72 would merit, but I think the stuff is too good to really move it up. So I'm just going to go with those upgrades right there and the one little downgrade. And that does get him, boom, right into gold, which I actually think is where he belongs. I mean, this is a really good pitcher. And I'd like to see them upgrade his stuff because it's just nasty. And if you're good at controlling it, whether you use analog, pulse, classic or meter, if you can control guys pretty well, even somebody with a bad walk rate and control mark, you should be able to still be successful with them. So I think Lance McCullers is one of those sneaky silvers right now who might finally be moved up to gold. Next up, The final boss is finally in the final boss role where he belongs. He's a rookie, even though he's 33, because he just came over from Korea, where he was also dominant. So if you want to talk about track record, he has it. It's not like he just come over here and all of a sudden he's really good. He was great over there. He's been excellent over here. I think he deserves a sharp upgrade. Not so much in the K9 because he's already there. So I'm just moving up to 91. He has an 18% swinging strike rate. That's third in baseball among relievers. That's elite. His 12.2 strikeout per 9 rate is only 13th. I say only just because it could definitely be higher. And if he elevates that, if he starts striking out more guys, I think we could see this move into the 90s further. But I think right now at 91, it's safe. This is where he gets a nice upgrade, though, up to 85 on the hits per 9. He's allowing 5.4 hits per 9. That's really, really good. A 162 batting average. That's also 12th in the league. That's really good. His homers per 9, again, doesn't affect us, but will affect his overall. He's only allowing 0.2 homers per 9, which is really good. I moved it all the way up to 80 because he didn't allow homers in Korea either. He didn't allow any of that sort of. He was great with strikeouts. He was great with hits. He was great with homers. All of it was good in Korea as well. His walk rate, I kind of left it static right now. We'll see. He's not elite there, but he's certainly not bad. And I think his clutch needs to move up. I don't know exactly how they deal with clutch in terms of closers, but now that he is actually a closer, he's going to be in higher leverage situations. Actually, that's not necessarily true because sometimes the biggest outs come in the 7th or 8th inning. But either way, I think it's time to move this up. So I moved it up to a 74. What's that do for the final boss? That moves him all the way up to an 85. That gives him a 5-point boost. Again, I think he's very deserving of it. I think it is high time that he gets to gold. And we'll see if they can get him there or not. I don't know why they wouldn't, though. He was long overdue for an upgrade, and they finally got him one. Then they moved him to closer. That gave him another little boost, and now this is kind of the big boost that he deserves. I think this other guy, the next guy got an upgrade recently, but he's deserving of another one. And his last name starts with BR, and he's on the Orioles. But it's not Zach Britton. Ooh, I tricked y'all. It's Brad Brach. He's a monster. Now, let me just say quickly that if Zach Britton gets another upgrade, I think he's completely deserving of it. You guys know I've been beating the drum for Zach Britton upgrades, but he did get one recently. I don't know how his control's at a 61, but I don't know if they're going to upgrade the pitches in season. They don't always do that. So yes, I do think he deserves an upgrade, but that's kind of one that we've done in the past that is kind of always on the board. Until Zach Britton shows any sort of failure, I think he absolutely deserves an upgrade. So I didn't give him one right now in terms of digging into the numbers, but he constantly deserves one. He's one of the best relievers in the game, and I think you can make a case. You can make a case that he's the best lefty reliever in all baseball right now. But Brad Brach deserves another upgrade right now. He was last upgraded on June 24th. Since then, he's thrown 5 no-hit innings with 6 strikeouts and 2 walks. Small sample, but again, we're working our upgrade slowly with him. I think he was at like a 74 or something when he a couple weeks ago. I don't think they could go from like 74 to 85 in one fell swoop. So they had to kind of do it in stair steps. Right now, he's at a 78, and I think it's time to finally. This one might get him to gold. Let's see. I don't know. I haven't done this beforehand, but I moved him up to an 86 on hits per 9. Actually, this is the 87 here. He has 4.5 hits per 9, a 146 average. His 146 batting average against is second in baseball among relievers. That's ridiculous. His Ks per 9 bumped it up a little bit to 87. He's got 10.4 with an elite swinging strike rate. His walks per 9 had to move up to 67. Now, he's only walking 2.6 this year, but he has a 4.2 for his career. So we gotta be easy with it. We can't just go crazy and move him up. He has had walk issues in the past, so I wanted to be careful with that one. And then again, this is really only for the overall, but he does need a small upgrade here up to 70. He's at 0.6 homers per 9 this year, and he's improved every year in the league. Let's see what this does. Does it get him there? 82. Okay, not quite up to. It would have been pretty crazy to get him all the way up from 78 to gold, but he's trending toward gold. Honestly, it doesn't matter if he gets gold. This is like one of those situations where it'd be nice. You love the little gold shield next to their name, and it would improve his market value. But this card plays, y'all. Even at its current 78, I'm absolutely devastating with this card. The big fastball and the splitter combo is enough. But the fact is that he has a slider, and I hate two-seamers, so I don't really use them. But 3 pitches is enough for me. Next up is an interesting rookie as well. I mentioned that Sungwon Oh is a 33-year-old rookie. This next guy's a 31-year-old rookie, but he didn't come from overseas. He just kind of he started off as a catcher in the minors, and they realized that didn't really work for Junior Guerra, so he had to switch over to pitching, and boy, has he figured some things out. Now, when I first did a Junior Guerra upgrade a couple weeks ago, and they gave him one, by the way, so it's not like they've completely ignored him, but they need to get him his splitter. They have a changeup in there, and I really think it should be a splitter. I didn't go in there and mess with it right now, but this should be a splitter with insane break and insane control, because he's really good with it. So I left it for now, but maybe it's something that if they don't give him the splitter, we can maybe send an email in and say, hey, this pitch has to change. He really does need a splitter. Either way, he was upgraded on June 17th, and since then he's allowed 3.6 hits per 9, 8.9 Ks, 2.0 walks, and 0.4 homers. He's been absolutely insane. So what I did, I just kind of went with a flat +8 across the board. So up to 82 here, up to 67 here, up to 74 here, and then of course up to 60 on the walks. He's allowed more than 4 earned runs just once, and more than 3 earned runs just once in his last 11 starts, and he has 13 starts all year. So basically what it comes down to is in his first 2 starts, Junior Guerra allowed 4 earned runs in both of those, and then since then he hasn't allowed more than 3. So he's been absolutely excellent. All right, let's see where that takes it. From 77 up to 82. There you go. So now he's a silver, and I think it's well deserved. And if they give him that devastating, let's just see. It's not a splitter. I don't know if the pitch classification matters, but let's just see if they bump this up to where it belongs. I'd say like a 72 and like a 78. I mean, his splitter's so nasty, y'all. Would that change anything? I don't know. Okay, it would bump him up another point. So we're gonna keep it at 82. That's the official number right now. But if they moved his changeup up, or at least changed it to splitter, that would be great. We got a couple more relievers here. Finishing up on pitchers this week. And this guy I talked about a couple weeks ago, but he's actually been better since. Like, he's been unbelievable. And it's Ryan Dull. There's nothing boring about what he's been doing. Okay, I'm going to quit streaming forever. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that. He was upgraded on June 3rd, and he's been stupid since then. He's allowed 2.6 hits per 9, 10.9 Ks, 0.6 walks, and homers. So that's 1 homer and 1 walk, actually. He's been great. Really, really impressive. And when Stephen Vogt made it to the All-Star game, he said, you know, it should be Ryan Dull over me, which is really nice of him. And he's not wrong, though. Ryan Dull probably should make it. They did take a lot of relievers, though, and there's just so many good relievers in the American League that it was kind of hard to fit him in. His K9 needs to go up, I think, 5 points to an 82. He's got 9.5 strikeouts this year per 9. His walks needs to go up big time. That's where he gets his big gain, because he's at 1.7 this year. He's at 3.2 last year, so he's almost cut it in half. His hits per 9 needs a really big upgrade as well. First off, I think it just started off too low. That's why I'm giving him such a big upgrade. Remember how I said Brad Brock had the second best batting average this year with a 146? Ryan Dull's right behind him at 148. So I moved this up to an 84. He's got 4.9 hits per 9 this year. He had 6.4 last year. He's just been absolutely ridiculous. And then I moved this down a little bit. Again, not that it really matters, but I did have to take into account the fact that he's allowed 1.1 homers per 9. Let's see where that takes him. From 73 up to a 78. So we got a silver. And I'll tell you what, I like some of these off-the-radar relievers. because you don't see them used as often, and they can be kind of a new wrinkle. That's why I like using Brad Brock so much, because not everybody's using Brad Brock. So then when I bring him in, instead of, I do use Calvin Herrera, but instead of some of those guys that are always used, you give people a different look. So I haven't actually tried out Ryan Dahl yet, but if he gets moved up, I think I will try to see what he's like and try and maybe incorporate him a little bit more. Next guy staying out west, actually staying in the Bay Area, but going to the other team in the Bay Area. This guy is a common that deserves a massive upgrade. I don't know what's going on with Derek Law being so low. Another rookie, by the way. He's been unbelievable this year. Derek Law has been a filth monster, and he needs sharp upgrades. This is going to be huge. I don't know if they would do all this, because this could jump him up to like a 78, which would be a 15-point upgrade, but he deserves it. So let's see what we got here. I got him up to 80 on the strikeouts. He's got 9.5 this year. He had 11.5 as a minor leaguer. His hits per nine needs to go up to 67. He has an 8.6 this year. That's not great. That's why I didn't go crazy, but a 244 average is pretty good. His walks per nine, this is the big upgrade. And this, I've noticed this happens a lot with these rookies that come in, because this happened actually with Michael Fulmer. For some reason, they go really low on the walks per nine. And I don't know what that is. Maybe it's just like a default thing where, and it is true, I guess, that a lot of times when guys first come in, they struggle a little bit with walks, but I mean, 27, that's insane. I'm moving him up so much. This is probably stupid, but I'm doing it because he deserves it. Because he has a 1.7 walks per nine he has 1.5 walks per nine this year, which is 7th in baseball, and he had a 2.7 walks per nine in the minors. So I moved it all the way up to 69. And then his homers per nine, moved it up to 65. Because he has a 0.3 homers per nine, and he had a 0.5 in the minors. So let's see what this does for Derek Law. I'm surprised he's not better than Posey. I'm just kidding. 76. So it's a 13-point upgrade. I don't know if he'll get it, but he's deserving of it. I really stand by this one. I mean, it's not like that's some overwhelming card. He should not be a common. He certainly shouldn't be a 63. And that big upgrade comes with the walks per nine. It shouldn't be anywhere near 27. So that's where he gets the bulk of that upgrade, but it's deserving. And then again, he's kind of working his way into somebody that you can maybe start using if they want to stair-step it up a little bit toward getting him toward a silver. He's been one of the better middle relievers in the game. And look, he has 4 pitches, which can give you a really unique look. Again, if you're using somebody, if you want to use somebody that not everybody has seen. And look, his velocity is low in terms of his meter on the ratings, but he throws a 94-mile-an-hour fastball. It's just that his other stuff is so slow to kind of balance it out. That's why it looks like he doesn't have any velocity. So Derek Law, keep him on your radar, y'all. He's pretty good. All right, reviewing. Max Scherzer stays at a 93 but gets a huge upgrade. The reason he doesn't get the upgrade in terms of overall is because his homer per nine has to go down. He's just allowed way too many homers, and this isn't just this year. This dates back to last August when he really started allowing the homers. Carlos Carrasco into gold from 84 to 86. Lance McCullers into gold from 83 to 85. Sungwon Oh into gold as well from 80 to 85. Brad Brock stays a silver but becomes a better one from 78 to 82. Junior Guerra joins the silver ranks going from 77 to 82. Hopefully he gets that splitter. Ryan Dahl goes from 73 to 78, joining the silver ranks. And Derek Law goes from common to bronze with a gigantic upgrade from 63 to 76. And those are your pitchers for the week. We'll see how they go on Friday. Thanks.